if they're going to hand out gold medals to ministers who want to tell their departments that they, in fact, run the show, not the unelected bureaucrats, I reckon Melinda Pavey's well on her way to getting one of them. There's reports in the media today that she turned up uninvited to a meeting of her senior bureaucrats. I mean, seriously, they obviously don't want the minister there, but she decided to insert herself in the room and basically thumped the table and said, we'll build dams. I'll put a graphic up on the screen of what it's reported that she said. She said, if you're not interested in building dams and water infrastructure, then I suggest you vacate this room immediately. We're told no one left, so that must be good news for the people of New South Wales, which are actually going to get what's promised.
Well, yeah, sorry, Prue, you go.
No, I was just going to say, but can you believe it? I mean, Donald Trump had the right view of draining the swamp. Sadly, when we change governments, we don't change the heads of the departments, or in a lot of cases, and the bureaucrats down the line, we don't change. And I just think it's so infiltrated now by these climate-loving, left-leaning, people who are just there, sitting in their chairs, wanting to, just ignore what the government of the day wants, what its mandate was, and what the people who voted the government in want. And, we have lazy ministers, apart from, it appears, Melinda Pavey, who really are out of their depth in a lot of cases and are much more likely to take the advice of bureaucrats. So, good on her. We need more of the same, and we need to drain the swamp here if we're not getting the right kind of actions from directives from ministers.
Can I just tell you a little story, Prue? You've reminded me, when Tony Abbott became PM, he removed a couple of heads of departments and made it clear that he wanted some regime change. He removed the Environment Department head because in all the dealings in opposition on the carbon tax and other things, he didn't think the bloke was straight down the middle. He thought he was playing politics a little bit. Well, he was sacked in Canberra by the Liberals, and very promptly the New South Wales Liberal government hired him to run their bureaucracies in Sydney. So, this is part of the problem. You're right about the swamp and you're right about culture change. Luke, can't have enough of it, can we?
No, we really cannot. Look, I interviewed David Littleproud, the federal minister, a week ago. I know he's got his issues, but I just said, because we've had so many calls on this issue, I know you both have been talking about it forever. Please just build a dam. I mean, the immigration, the population grows and we'll just have the same. We'll have the same generating capacity. It's nonsense. Please build a dam. I said to Littleproud, is it you or the states? Expecting him to say it was the states. He did. Now we've got Melinda Pavey saying, all right, let's have a crack. Now, the key, I think, is John Barilaro in New South Wales, who said 3 or 4 weeks ago, let's remove some of the impediments. Let's get this done. So we've got a water minister with a bit of attitude. We've got a deputy premier with a lot of attitude. We've got, I think, $3.2 billion in a cheque from Littleproud. So we're now watching. The words are great, very encouraging. I think people will be high-fiving, but now it's time for action. We'll see how long it takes.
Well, I mean, that's a fair point, isn't it? When you've got the stars align like that, or they seemingly align, let's see if it's talk and not action. But, Prue, they can stop the parliament to get through abortion laws that no one said really was a major priority. Why can't, as Luke says, if we've increased our population by a third over the last 30 years, but not our dam capacity, not our water storages, not our water infrastructure, why can't we fix that now?
Because the problem is that they want it each way. They want to make sure that they don't go too far offending the climate huggers and greenies, but at the same time they need to worry about the rest of us. And so they just want to be a little bit pregnant. They don't want to really take that leap. And sadly, all they're doing is showing themselves to be totally inefficient. I mean, they are misreading the community so badly or so well, in fact, misleading it so well, because, we are all desperate for action. We want either the Bradfield system introduced, we want dams, we want to stop this Murray-Darling nonsense, where people who don't have farms are allowed to own water and manage water. I mean, the whole situation is crazy. It's all from the government's mishandling, consecutive governments of both sides, and it's time for them to actually just do it.
It's not rocket science, is it, Luke?
No.
When people go to vote, they don't need 22 boxes ticked. They want the government to do the basics and for the rest of the time basically get out of the way. Water is one of those basics. Roads are one of those basics.
Yeah, spot on. It's the biggie. And I can tell you, in the calls we take, the many calls I take on Michael's show overnight right now, it is the issue. Scott Morrison will be Prime Minister to the year 2600 if he does something about water. The other mob can't touch him. They've been beautifully wedged. Not that it should be a matter of politics, but this is his moment. Now, he's done some great things. I agree with Prue, that speech last week was an absolute ripper. But again, it's a speech. This one's about action. If he can do something about water, if he can fix that problem, or at least begin the solution, my God, he's there for as long as he wants to be.